I took a walk today, and I've always wanted to sort of document what I see. And, real estate is one area where walking and observing construction, looking at histories, seeing who's where will benefit from taking pictures, creating a story, and sharing it. Today, I'm going to share something I saw today, which is at the corner of El Camino Real and Page Mill. It's now a soccer field. And the land here at that intersection has a long history between commerce and travel. In the 1850s, a woman named Juana Briones, she manufactured hides. She raised cattle, made the hides, took them to Redwood City where they were tanned, and from there they were made into straps that would power looms and industrial equipment that were on electric motor someplace, and then the energy would be transferred via these straps. So El Camino Real goes this way, the King's Highway, and this is Page Mill Road going this way. And at that crossroads, it's all owned by Stanford Properties. And there had been buildings on that area, and Stanford wanted to expand in other areas and needed a deal to be done with the city. Here's how it looks today. In fact, these are all law offices up there, and up Page Mill Road that way. It used to be Hewlett Packard headquarters for decades. Now it's Tesla's engineering headquarters, and across the street, it's XAI, which is owned by SpaceX. There was a Jewish community center at this location, and they wanted larger space. And so Stanford went to the city to do a deal to move that Jewish community center to another part of Palo Alto, and also get the right to put other buildings along El Camino, office buildings, which are in place today. And in return, the city wanted a recreational space made out of this corner 6 acres. But there are a lot of challenges that had to be done. Residents were concerned about the traffic that would come in, because they said the people using this aren't all going to be living here. They're going to come in from everywhere. And the answer is that's exactly what's happening. There was also drainage issues and water and whatnot. And so environmental impact reports had to be done. And so Stanford is the landowner, and they funded this project for $2.5 million. And they negotiated with the city, and that was President John Hennessy of Stanford, negotiating with the partner, which is the city, with Jim Burch, who was the mayor at the time. But there was also this landscape architect group that was going to build it, and the stormwater management system had to be built. But the one who paid the bills was a Stanford Land Management Company, and they managed the construction project. But the local residents associations were actively involved addressing concerns, and ultimately it was the Palo Alto Soccer Club, an ISO region, and Stanford Strikers football team that make use of it today. So here's a timeline. Area 2000, City of Palo Alto approaches Stanford about relocating. And then in 2004, the soccer field was concluded. The deal was concluded, and the environmental impact reports got started. It took over a year, and then there was a groundbreaking with all the dignitaries involved. And then the field's open, with the project being fully completed in 2007. But still, there had to be upgrades because the old muddy field was replaced by synthetic turf even as recently as last year. But how did I make this? I started with a photograph. I was walking and I saw this field in use, And I said, locate this soccer field on my map. So I have a skill inside my agent system that connects to Google Maps, and it located it correctly. I said, good, give me some history about this. It generated a report and gave me a summary, but now I asked for the complete report to be sent up to my Google Docs account. Save the document that's in my inbox, the folder that's my inbox on my Macintosh at home, have that go up to a Google Doc because I want to edit it while I had lunch. This morning I created a skill that looked at all the documentation for CueCam and learned how to fabricate a CueCam bundle. And these CueCam bundles I can just open with CueCam and do some light editing, and I've got myself my presentation ready to go. So I'm telling it to create a CueCam presentation from that doc. Here's the document that gave me all the bullets that I went through and the timeline with the images that I included in that. And then I asked Larry, my main agent that I communicate with, to get their sub-agents to now organize that into a CueCam bundle. Here's the folder containing that information. These are presentations I've made using my tools. These are in the presentations folder, which are in my owner's inbox because I am the owner of this. And this whole system is called a personal knowledge assistant. So going through files and folders actually makes it very easy to create blog posts, do all the descriptions and titles that I need for YouTube and other activities. And now I can do CueCam presentations while I'm on the road. As a postscript, I wanted to ask Perplexity to take a look at the system that I built and see if it makes sense. I reviewed my whole system and I asked it to take a look at it. And he says, this is essentially an operating system. And I asked if I can extend my system with more skills. And it's saying, yes, in fact, this organization is exactly the way they do it at Perplexity, where when you're in the cloud, they assemble folders like this so that they can upgrade things, manage things. It's just a lot of markdown files. And I feel like I'm ahead of the game because I'm doing this on my local machine. So I can work with things that are particular to me without having everything going off and burning up tokens or exposing what I'm doing to the open internet.